It's like 25 degrees with like a -10 wind chill on top of that. So I could put some gloves on, start out. Maybe walking around because you guys can probably hear the generator in the back. It's pretty loud. So most people will probably be watching this in post. Anyways, all right. So let me go take a walk, get some exercise. Alrighty. Oof, it is cold out like crazy right now. Now I can kind of take a little bit of a walk, talk about a little bit of hockey. Okay, let me kind of start off the show by saying this. This is a late night stream. Came in late, recorded a video, watched the Bruins game while a little bit underway. So, while I had the chance and the opportunity, wanted to make a quick, tiny stream. Might be 10 minutes, might be 20 minutes, talking about the New York Rangers and the mess they find themselves in. I have a longer form video with edited content that's going to probably come back next week when I'm home, and depending on how things go over the next week, it will kind of judge where that video goes. But the New York Rangers are an absolute mess right now. After losing to the Nashville Predators, a team they should not be losing to, a lot of fans are pissed off. I mean, the big time content creator Eck even made a video speaking about his frustrations of the team. Haven't had a chance to go around it, but it is in my subscription feed when I get back to the dock. So it's like, hey, let's talk about these Rangers. And my good friend DEG is a big Rangers fan. So what's the problem with New York? I think there's many things going on personally. I think with the New York Rangers, it seems like it's not just on the ice performance. I feel like there's got to be something going on off ice because they have the talent there. They should not be playing as poorly as they are. And defensively, while they've had these defensive issues for years, and I think has gone underneath the radar with some of their structure and locking out guys from the middle, which is other teams have been exposing this year. I feel like there's a little bit more going on to it than just that. The Rangers are a far better team than we are seeing on the ice. There is no way they should be playing this poorly. They have the talent on the roster to at least be effective. And right now, that is just not the case. And Jesus Christ, it's cold today. Some people will speculate that it's the Igor Shesterkin contract. Well, he got paid 11.5, and him and the Panarin thing, and like the whole thing. Like, I'm not going to get into the minutia of that because I feel like that's just a lot of speculation. Maybe there's some truth to that, but I mean, I think all these guys, especially at the top, they make millions of dollars. I think, what would that be, like $500,000 extra more per year? I don't think that makes it a big of a deal. Now, this is just Shesterkin contract when it comes to forming the roster going forward. Might that have some issues? Maybe. But that's a kind of a different conversation to affecting the locker room. Hey, what's going on, Nukes? How's it going, buddy? And guys, it is freezing out here. Holy crap, I didn't think it was going to be this cold. So if I walk a bit, that's why. But what really, for me, it's just the defensive breakdowns by the Rangers and just the open space they do allow in the middle and just how soft they play. I mean, they play so soft at times, and it's just they have some big guys on the back end. They have talent, and I feel like, oh, Jesus, it's cold. I feel like they shouldn't be defensively deficient, but it's difficult to watch. I ended up watching the Nashville Predators game after the fact. I watched it not tonight, but last night, when I had a chance. I was like, what is going on with these guys? And it just seems like, how would I put this? It just seems like they're playing with not much heart. What's going on, the one? Appreciate you popping through. They just don't seem like they're playing up to the usual standards. I mean, they have like Panarin, want a little bit more from him. Kreider has been abysmal. I mean, that's why he's in trade talks right now. And like, there's been rumor, various different teams. I know my own personal team, the Bruins, have been linked to him. I just don't know how they would make that work with the current cap situation. That would be interesting. But Kreider hasn't really lived up to what he should be playing at, and they're just not getting enough overall from him. I know they dealt Trouba, and while I think Trouba defensively, or just as a defenseman, has taken a downturn, and there was a lot of people willing to move on from him and get a fresh face in there. They did trade their captain. That was a guy that was the leader of their team. They end up dealing him. I mean, is there ramifications for that? Is that maybe an explanation of like, damn, they just traded our captain? What's going on, Derek? What's going on? Good to see you. But that was kind of a, I know a lot of Ranger fans wanted Trouba gone, the contract, the play. He's no longer the big guy that he was before. And I can understand that to a degree, but I do wonder if some of this poor play is, well, damn, they traded Trouba. They kind of did Gaudreau dirty, sending him to San Jose. And it is shown with the Rangers management. They just do not care. They are willing to get rid of whoever. And it makes me kind of question going forward, not necessarily the high-end guys where you're going to pay a ton of money, but like those mid-level guys, will they be a little bit leery to sign a deal in New York, understanding that they could be shipped off anywhere, even if they do have some form of a no-movement clause. Nukes, do you like the Calgary Flames? Actually, yes. Quick sidebar, Jarome Iginla. This is probably dating myself. I mean, I'm in my early 30s, so I can say this. Jarome Iginla growing up was actually one of my favorite players to watch. Mika Kiprusoff, I think, was amazing as a goaltender. I like the Flames. I like a lot of teams around a league. I mean, obviously, I'm a Bruins fan, but for me, my second favorite team would have been the Colorado Avalanche because when Bourque got traded, but I've always had soft place for the Flames because I think they got a passionate fan base, and I also think I had a lot of really fun players to watch when I was a young kid. Like Jarome Iginla, he was so much fun. I remember playing the EA Sports games. I would always like get him in a trade. So yeah, I like the Flames a lot. Oh, thanks, Derek. I'm glad. I appreciate the sub. Hopefully you enjoy me out here by the water. Probably about 10 degrees. Feels like 10 degrees out. But yeah, Iginla was absolutely brilliant. Yeah, I mean, I absolutely loved him as a player. But as for the Rangers, I'm just does all these moves of kind of core character guys moving out of the room, like, did that affect the team? And it does make me wonder that. It's some people have said, and I don't think this is correct, that, the Shesterkin contract, that's the reason why these guys are playing poorly. This is why these guys are not playing up to their usual standard. I just genuinely believe that the team has seen everyone get moved, and they're like, oh, shoot, am I next? Am I gone? I mean, Kakko, he just got dealt to, what was it, Seattle. Drury's making moves. He's getting rid of guys. And whether we want to acknowledge it or not, players are human. And I'm not saying it's a complete excuse, but it would make me understand, like, maybe like these guys are a little bit nervous, like, oh, shoot, am I the next guy to hit the trading block? Am I the next guy that's going to be sent to, some bottom dweller in either conference? And I think that's playing some part into it. But, going to say it very plainly, Adam Fox needs to play better. He needs to be a better defenseman. I think defensively overall, not just the D-men. I'm not just looking at the guys on the blue line, but as a team overall, they got to do far better at boxing people and keeping them to the outsides instead of letting up these very dangerous chances right down in the slot. Until the Rangers improve their defense, they're not going to be a good hockey team right now. You can have the best goaltender in the world. It does not matter. You could pay Shesterkin $20 million. It doesn't matter. If you don't have good team defense in front of a goaltender, it does not matter how good the goalie is. I mean, there's outliers to that discussion, right? People will say, well, Dominik Hasek, and personally, Dominik Hasek's my goat. Dominik Hasek was one of the greatest goaltenders of all time. He didn't have great teams, but I would also argue maybe offensively didn't have great teams in Buffalo. I'm not saying they're world beaters, but at least defensively, while he had to bail them out at times, they were solid enough. And when I watch this Rangers team, it's fixable. The issues they're facing are fixable, in my opinion. Clean up a little bit of the puck possession, clean up some of the transition game, pick up their proper assignments, and I don't think it's gloom and doom. They have talent on this roster. I mean, Zibanejad, Kreider's there right now. Panarin, whoo, Jesus, cold. Lafreniere. You know, they have guys on the roster up front. Sorry, big glare. On the roster up front that should be solid enough offensively to contribute. I mean, Vincent Trocheck. You know, there's guys here that produced last year that should be able to produce last year that should produce this year. And I don't think it's going to be. Oh my God. Oh, probably going to make this a quick stream. You know, it's going to be one of those situations that you need those guys, the core members, to contribute, and you need just a better system in play. I mean, losing to the Nashville Predators, that's a tough pill to swallow, but I can say here as a Bruins fan, after getting shelled 8-1, 5-1, they turn things around. It's early. It's not super early in the season, but it's early enough. The Rangers, I think, are 5th or 6th right now in the Metro, but that's a competitive division. They're not so many points back, but you need them to start changing things. And I will say this, if the Rangers do not improve their level of play, I just would not be surprised if Drury does some type of bigger move. Maybe he moves a guy like Kreider. Maybe he moves a guy like Zibanejad. Maybe he moves one of the bigger pieces. Am I thinking Panarin? Probably not. But, I mean, I think this core has not won anything. It has not gone the distance. They have the goaltender. You know Drury's going to have those comparisons of... What the fuck was that? Oh, that's the gangway. I heard some metal on metal noise for a second. I was like, what the heck was that? But they have the goaltending. Drury probably doesn't want this to be another situation like with Henrik Lundqvist. You have arguably one of the best goaltenders in the world, and then you're just not able to do anything with him. I could understand the fear of that, and I could definitely understand the fear of that. I do believe that it's fixable in New York, but they have to look internally and really kind of solve the defensively before they kind of do anything in that regard. Oh my God, it's so cold. But I'm going to have a bigger, longer form, more edited video where my thoughts are more drawn out. I apologize, I'm a little rambly because cold's got me off the place. So I'll take a couple comments, and then I'll go probably warm up. Nuke says, when do you think a Canadian team will win the Cup, or was the Oilers our only hope? I don't think the Oilers are your only hope. You know, I think there's a lot of promising teams in Canada. I mean, Vancouver is one of these teams that I think highly of. I've watched Thatcher Demko since Boston College. I'm a BC Eagles fan. So I kind of watch a lot of the guys that come from BC in their career, even BU, just generally Hockey East guys. Demko can stay healthy. I think Vancouver's got some talent. I think the Oilers do have talent as well. I mean, they beat my Bruins 3-2 tonight. I do worry about some of the defensive play with the Oilers and lack of secondary help. But, I mean, Leon Draisaitl has been brilliant. Absolutely. I think he's got, is it 11 or 13 points in his last 5 games? Something crazy, I think it is. Leon Draisaitl is one of these guys that you could say, oh, that guy should win Hart. Oilers have a lot of talent. I have a question mark with goaltending. Stuart Skinner was in that first week goal, which is kind of like a Skinner signature, right? Like, not to be a jerk, but I'm just not sure if Skinner's good enough in net, but I'm hoping he proves me wrong. So I think, you got Vancouver, you got the Oilers. Calgary, I don't think now, but I like Dustin Wolf. I made a video about him last year, being a promising prospect, and I think he could be solid. I think he's had a good year. I think Calgary could have some pieces going forward if they draft and some of the prospects develop. Montreal is a team, and I'm saying this as a Bruins fan, that has a lot of young talent. Demidov, when he eventually comes over, I think I think Montreal's got a lot of good prospects. Helene Hudson, good young defenseman. Montembeault, he's kind of coming to his own. I think he's developed, and kind of solidified himself as an NHL quality starter. Toronto is one of these teams that, good. Like, was it Stolars and Wool? They have decent goaltending, good goaltending, I should say. You got a bunch of talent, a bunch of talent. And the Winnipeg Jets, I mean, they've been one of the best teams in the NHL. They have the goaltending. For Winnipeg, for me to believe for them to win a Stanley Cup, they got to kind of prove to me that they can win in the first round. I think a lot of Canadian teams are in a good spot to win it in the next few years. I don't think the drought's going to extend more than that. There's a lot of talent in Canada when it comes to their hockey teams. And, this might sound crazy. I kind of wish I know why they wouldn't do it, because it wouldn't make sense logistically, but that year with the pandemic when they had that Canadian division, that was kind of cool. But I think Canada has some really good teams overall. I mean, some are in different phases of the rebuild, but there's some teams like, if I say threats this year, it would be Winnipeg. I think the Oilers, they have the firepower to be a threat, because we've shown that they can just lock in defensively, and they can have the firepower to keep up with anybody. And you have other younger teams that should be, Vancouver could be in that discussion. But again, same thing with Winnipeg. Got to prove it to me in the playoffs, see what they can do. And it relies on health. I think there's a lot of good, talented Canadian teams. And I wouldn't be surprised in the next 5 years if one of them wins a cup, or maybe even two. Skinner needs to step up. I think with Skinner, some of it is the team, but I would even say less of that. Tonight he made some nice stops, but that first goal that he went against Lindholm, it's like, you can't let that one in. That's a rough one to let in. That's an inexcusable one. I mean, I could say the same thing when I watched Swayman let that shit in 5-1 on Hyman. I'm like, what are you doing, buddy? What are you doing? But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see a cup winner come out of Canada in the next few years. There's just a lot of talent, and if I was to make a team this year that should make a deep run, it would be the Winnipeg Jets. I mean, they have Hellebuck, one of the best goaltenders in the world. Oh my God, they have so much talent, like Kyle Connor, Scheifele, Morrissey on the back end. There's so much talent that Winnipeg is one of those teams that should be able to come out of the Western Conference. But will they? They got to prove it to me in the playoffs. So, long, rambly answer to that, but I do think there's a lot of promise if you're a NHL fan from Canada, whether it's your team or one of the other 5. I do think there's a chance to have some type of cup winner that comes out of Canada, maybe even this year. So, short stream. It's going to make it about 20 minutes. I'm going to try to stream a little bit more. I rarely stream because, when I'm on the boat, this week's my week on the boat. I'll be going home on Christmas Day. So, apologize if some of the content's going to be, or my recorded content is going to be a little bit slow. Just just kind of, it's hard because I don't know if you guys can hear like the generators. Like when you're on these boats, it's loud, and it sucks to record content where I have to silence and isolate things, and then just even having the time when we're underway. Like recording is not the worst thing, but then having the internet to upload is. So, but I appreciate everybody who popped through. I know it's like a 3 in the morning stream. So having, I had 7, I think 11 people at one point. Pretty cool. Maybe I'll do more of these just quick 20, 30-minute streams when I have the opportunity, because yeah, if you guys like these, I actually enjoy having direct interaction with people that enjoy the content. So I guess this is my shameless plug. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Yep, you can throw me offside the boat for saying that. But thanks, guys, for popping in. And see you guys soon. Whew, oh, my God. It is like... It is crazy. I don't even know how to end this. Oh, here we go.